Watch this story in full. Subscribe, comment and like my channel, Green Mythology, for mythology and history. Gateway 2, the captivating worlds of ancient myth. Now watch the story in full please. The sun bled into the Aegean Sea, staining the waves of furious crimson. On the rocky shores of Argos, the aging King Agamemnon's homecoming was no triumphant return but a descent into a nightmare. His wife, Clytemnestra, driven by a decade of burning resentment for the sacrifice of the daughter Iphigenia, awaited him not with open arms, but with a sharpened axe. The deed was done in the opulent bathhouse, a brutal gash across his throat, his lifeblood mingling with the fragrant oils and hot water. As the last tremor of his life escaped, a faint, chilling hum vibrated through the air, unheard by mortal ears, yet felt in the very marrow of the earth. From the shadowed cracks of the deepest chthonic realms, drawn by the scent of spilled familial blood, stirred the Erinyes. They were born of ancient grievances, from the blood of Uranos spilled upon Gaia, embodying a primal, unforgiving justice. The names, Alecto, Megaera, and Tisiphone, were whispers of eternal suffering. Their forms were terrifying to behold. Cloaked in shadows, their hair writhing with venomous serpents, their eyes glowing with an infernal light. In their hands, they clutched whips woven from thorny vines and torches that burned with an unholy flame. Clytemnestra, in her momentary triumph, felt a shiver despite the warmth of the blood on her hands. She dismissed it as the chill of night, or perhaps the ghost of Agamemnon's spirit. But the Erinyes were already on the move, drawn by the raw, pulsating energy of matricide and patricide. The years that followed were a testament to their relentless nature. Orestes, Agamemnon's son, was consumed by the agonizing dilemma of vengeance. Driven by the oracle at Delphi, and spurred by his sister Electra's unwavering thirst for justice, he finally raised his sword against his own mother and her lover, Aegisthus. The act, while fulfilling a divine prophecy, was also a heinous violation of the sacred bond of kinship. As Clytemnestra's dying gasp echoed through the palace, the hum intensified. This time, Orestes heard it. It was a low, resonant thrum that seemed to emanate from the very stone and air around him. Then, they manifested. Alecto, her serpents hissing, her eyes burning with an unholy zeal, was the first he truly saw. Her whip cracked, not touching him, yet sending shivers of icy dread down his spine. Megaera, her face contorted in a mask of pure fury, raised her torch, and though no flame touched him, he felt the searing heat of his own guilt. Tisiphone, the sternest of the three, her gaze piercing his very soul, began to speak in a voice that was both ancient and chillingly clear, listing his crimes with a horrifying precision. Blood for blood, Tisiphone's voice rasped, kin for kin. You have defiled the sacred hearth, Orestes, and now you shall know no peace. From that moment on, Orestes' life became an unbearable torment. The Erinyes were his constant companions, invisible to all but him, yet their presence was a suffocating shroud. He fled Argos, seeking refuge, but there was no escape from their relentless pursuit. When he ate, their spectral forms hovered over his food, turning every morsel to ash in his mouth. When he tried to sleep, their whispers of matricide, matricide, echoed in his mind, robbing him of rest. The sight of their writhing hair and burning eyes was etched into his eyelids, a constant, horrifying tableau. His skin crawled with an unseen touch, the phantom lashing of their whips. His mind, once sharp and decisive, began to fray at the edges, consumed by paranoia and terror. He stumbled through desolate landscapes, his clothes ragged, his eyes haunted, a living testament to the Furies' unwavering commitment to justice. Apollo, witnessing Orestes' agonizing plight, took pity on him. He understood the intricate web of divine commands and the tragic circumstances that had led to Orestes' actions. He offered Orestes sanctuary at his temple in Delphi, but even there, the Furies, the chthonic power-strong, found a way to torment him, their chilling whispers penetrating the very sanctuary walls. Finally, at Apollo's urging, Orestes made his desperate plea to Athena, the goddess of wisdom and justice, on the sacred hill of the Areopagus in Athens. The trial was a pivotal moment in Greek mythology, a clash between the ancient, unforgiving justice of the Erinyes and the burgeoning concept of reasoned, civic law. The Erinyes, their voices a furious chorus, presented their case with unyielding conviction. They spoke of the sacred unbreakable bond of family, of the defilement of blood, and of the divine mandate to punish those who violated such sacred laws. He spilled his mother's blood. Alecto shrieked, he deserves no mercy. Apollo, Orestes' advocate, argued that Orestes had acted under divine command, to revenge his father's murder. He emphasized the mitigating circumstances, the cycle of violence that had consumed the house of Atreus, and the need for a new form of justice, one that considered intent and the broader context of actions. Athena, in her infinite wisdom, saw the validity in both arguments. The Furies represented a primal, essential truth, the sanctity of familial bonds and the severe consequences of violating them. Yet, Apollo's plea highlighted the need for compassion, for breaking the endless cycle of vengeance that had plagued generations. In a move that changed the course of justice, Athena cast the deciding vote, siding with Orestes. However, she knew the Furies, ancient and powerful, could not simply be dismissed. Their rage, if left unchecked, could blight the land, causing famine and pestilence. So, Athena offered them a new role, a new purpose. No longer would they be solely instruments of vengeance, but guardians of justice, known as the Eumenides, the kindly ones. They would still oversee the punishment of the wicked, but their fury would be tempered, the justice applied within the framework of law and reason. They would be honored in Athens, revered for their ancient power, and their wrath would be invoked only when true, unrepentant crimes against kinship occurred. The Erinyes, after millennia of pursuing their relentless hunt, hesitated. The thought of tempering the divine fury was alien to them. But Athena's wisdom was undeniable, and the promise of reverence and a continued, albeit reframed, purpose in the new order of justice was appealing. Slowly, their writhing serpents stilled, their burning eyes softened, and the chilling hum that had preceded them for so long faded into a quieter, more harmonious vibration. Orestes was finally free, his torment lifted. He bore the scars of their pursuit, a constant reminder of the terrible price of familial bloodshed. And in the shadowed corners of the world, where ancient grudges festered and forbidden acts were committed, the faint scent of spilt familial blood would still, on occasion, awaken a primal hum, a silent promise that the Erinyes, now the Eumenides, still watched, ever vigilant, ever ready to pursue those who dared to defy the sacred bonds of kinship. Their vengeance, though now bound by the scales of justice, remained as relentless as the passage of time itself.